Good night, hey everyone doing tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma J. Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you a word on tonight. And the topic gonna be on Hagar. Life is at a crossroad. And this is gonna be part two from yesterday. I talk about Sarah refused to wait on God and she had Hagar to sleep with her husband. So this is part two of Hagar's story. So Sarah had her slave Hagar to sleep with her husband, Abraham, because Sarah got tired of waiting on God. So God had a plan for her and Abraham, but she wanted to start without God. So Hagar's life is at a crossroad. Now she thought she was doing Sarah a favor, but between Hagar's pride and Sarah's jealousy and Abraham caught in the middle, at this point Hagar don't know what to do at this point but run. So Sarah had put her slave Hagar and her husband Abraham. She put them two together because she wanted a child, and she thought Hagar was gonna just turn the child over to her, but it did not happen in that way. So Sarah said when Hagar knew she was pregnant, Hagar started despising her mistress. You know, so so when Hagar found out she was pregnant, she didn't even want to talk to Sarah no more. Because I think she had started having feelings for Abraham. So you can't put another woman in a mix or something with your husband. You never know if they're gonna have feelings or not. So she started having feelings with Abraham, so she didn't want to be bothered with Sarah no more. So Sarah said to Abraham that he responsible for the wrong that she is suffering. You know, now she telling her husband he responsible when it was her idea to have Hagar to sleep with Abraham. So it was Sarah's idea for Abraham to sleep with Hagar, but now she putting all the weight on Abraham. Because now Hagar is pregnant for Abraham's child. Sarah still don't have no children. And Abraham getting close to her, trying to protect her. Maybe so she don't hurt herself while she pregnant. So she's seeing how the closeness they is getting because she's pregnant for Abraham's child, and I guess Sarah being feeling left out, so Sarah said, I put my slave in your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. So Sarah want Abraham to handle this situation, what she started. And now it's a disaster, and now we see that Sarah's plan had backfired on her. And that's how it is. When you don't wait on God, and look how long I've been waiting, so I'm not gonna try to do stuff on my own because it's taking too long. Because once you try to do things on your own and not wait on God, it gonna always become to be a disaster. It gonna always backfire. It will not work out. And we see that her plan did not work out. It backfired on her. You know. So Abraham, so now she put all the weight on Abraham. She's telling Abraham, you handle this here. She's pregnant for your child. She despised me. She don't want to have anything to do with me. So Abraham, you take care of this situation. Now, this is a situation that she started. This is a situation that she came up with. But now she want Abraham to handle something that backfired on her. So Abraham answered. He told her, your slave is in your hands. You do whatever you think is best. So that's her slave. So Abraham saying, that's your slave. It's in your hands. You do what best, and try to handle the situation. Abraham ain't want nothing to do with it. So not Abraham was no help at all. He is in the middle and he don't know how to handle this situation. But told Sarah, whatever suits you best, he is out of it. So Abraham don't want to be caught between two women fighting. So them two couldn't get along. It's like they're fighting over Abraham. So Abraham stayed out of it. He said, you do whatever suits you, whatever best for you. You handle the situation. So she gonna handle the situation all right. So Sarah mistreated Hagar. So Hagar flee from her, and she feel like her life is at a crossroad. So Hagar flee, from Sarah, and now the angels, found her at the spring in the desert. So it was the springtime. It was a spring that is besides the road to Solomon. And he said, Hagar, slave of Sarah, where have you come from? So the angel asking her, where is you come from? And then the angel also asked her, where are you going? So she flee from Sarah. She don't have no idea where she going. So now the angel found her and asking her these questions. Where you come from and where are you going? So Hagar says she is running away from her mistress. Told her she running away. She being mistreated. Abraham, he told her you handle the best way you can. So that's the best way she can do it, handle it, is mistreating Hagar. So the angels told her, go back to your mistress and submit to her. So Hagar flee because Sarah mistreating her. But now the angels telling her, no, you go back. You go submit to this woman who treating you bad. You go back. So she still was hanging around, moping around. So God was like, I spoke it. You have to obey to go back. So the angels had said, I will increase your deceiving so much that there will be numerous to come. So that's why later on she gonna be like she is a slave, her and her children, because God is giving her more children. So Hagar's life would come at a crossroad. It was painful for Hagar to reflect on her past, but much less attempt to see through an uncertain future. So she flee, and now she's thinking about she have an uncertain future right now, because she flee to that desert, but that's all she knows. She don't know where else she going. She don't know where else she going. Who gonna take her? It's just her in her son. Because her is, even though she gonna go back, she gonna be leaving again because her and Sarah cannot get along, and Sarah gonna tell Abraham she got to go. So Abraham had to put her and the child out. So remember, Sarah started mistreating Hagar, and Hagar thought to herself as she keep thinking about the event over and over, for the past few months. So she concluded that she come from a place that no woman should have to be. Because remember, she answered the angel's question because he said, where you come from? She said she come from a place that no woman should be at. So Hagar said she come from a place that a woman who hate her. Hagar said she come from the burden of carrying a baby who father loves someone else. So now she making this statement that Abraham loves someone else, which is his wife. So that means she got feeling for Abraham, and that's why she despised Sarah when she found out she was pregnant, because it's like she want Abraham all for herself. She let feelings got involved. For her to say carrying a baby whose father loves someone else is Abraham's wife. So now we see that she despised Sarah because she want Abraham all for herself. So now this is Hagar. How she feel after agreeing to sleep with Abraham. It sounds like excuse me. It sounds like she having feelings for Abraham, saying he in love with someone else, which is Abraham's wife. So Hagar she should have thought about all this before she made that decision. You know, she should have thought about this. She thought she wanted to sleep the man with the woman husband and then live happily ever after. it don't go that way. It was arrangement that they should have told her at the beginning. you know so now she said now she's saying she come from a terrible place of confusion, and abandonment. So that's where she come from. She answered the angel. She said that's where she come from. Remember, the angel asked her where she come from, so that was her answer. So now she had asked her another question. The angel asked her, where are you going? Now the first question is where you come from. you know. So now her second question is, where is you going? So now this question was even more painful. She said this question is even more painful than previous question. So she knew where she come from, but she had no idea where she going. She flee and was in that desert, but she had no idea where she was going. All she knows, she had to get away from Sarah. So in fact, she was wandering in the desert, considered the option that at that very moment, the third question, the angel told Hagar, go back to your mistress and submit to her. So that was something she didn't even want to hear. So at the moment, Hagar was not trying to hear that. It was the last thing she felt like doing at the moment is go back. That she heard the angel message clearly. That her life is at a crossroad right now. It's uncertain. That she don't know where she going, and she don't know where and she don't want to go back. So the crossroad point to a path that she did not want to take, had not planned to take. So God had spoken, and Hagar must obey. So now the angel told Hagar, you are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ashmir. For the Lord had heard of your misery. And Hagar bore Abraham a son, and Abraham gave the name Ashmir to the son. And she had borne Abraham a son, and Abraham was 86 years old when Hagar bore him had conceived a son, Ashmir. So really, her son is Abraham's first child. God had spoken, and Hagar obeyed and went back. Now she peers down the road that represent her future, but it looks suspicious like the road that led to a painful past. You know, she thought that was gonna be her future, but now it's like a painful past to her. One, that we see several got tired of waiting on God. Two, had her slave to sleep with her husband. Three, Hagar agreed, but then it seemed like she started having feeling for Abraham. Four, Hagar saw that Abraham loved his wife, and she started despising his wife. She started despising her misery. So it seemed like Hagar didn't know it was arranged. Um, she didn't know it was arranged. She didn't let feelings got involved. So despising the man own wife. When she was supposed to be doing a favor for Hagar, a favor for Sarah, but it seemed like Hagar didn't know it was a arranged situation, to step into. So what she thought, Sarah want her to sleep with her husband, and then you just take him and live happily ever after. It was a arranged situation that she probably didn't even know she stepped into. So Hagar and Abraham agreed, so several plans, which backfired on several. So Hagar's decision caused us to flee, and sometimes a choice may make you cause our life at a crossroad, stuck, you know, and you don't know if you're going left or right. Now Hagar caught herself, between two situations, between Sarah and Abraham, and now her life is at a crossroad. Her future is uncertain. So Hagar, Hagar's child was Abraham's first child, and he was 86 years old when she conceived Abraham's son. So Hagar went back, but her and Sarah could not get along. Then Sarah told Abraham that Hagar had to leave her and her son. You know, so it was like Abraham couldn't have no communication or anything with her son. They just just left. So Hagar and her son, they had to leave. And I watched the movie. So Abraham standing up there and is watching her leave. And Sarah looking at him, feeling sorrow for her and her son. Her son is Abraham's son. And he just standing there watching them leave. He do anything his wife tell him to do. She told him, they have to leave. So Hagar and her son had to leave. So later on, Hagar and her son were slaves. Hagar did not think before she agreed to sleep with Abraham, it was a bad decision. So Sarah did not want to wait on God. You know, Abraham said yes because he could not tell his wife no. Hagar seemed like she had feeling for Abraham. You know, Hagar agreed to something that Hagar agreed to something that was arranged relationship which she did not know. So wait on God plan. We're not gonna do like Sarah. Wait on God plan and see how better it will be. You know. So wait on God plan. Never agree to sleep with someone's husband. Feeling may get involved. Wait on God. And don't never get yourself caught up in arrangement. Arrangement because you're dealing with two, you get in between two situations and she allowed feelings to get involved. So don't never get involved and caught up in an arrangement. You know, if God have a plan for your life, wait on that plan. Wait on God plan, not create your own plan. So that's all the word I have for you on tonight. And y'all have a blessed night and I see you on the next video.